So I'm very pleased to be back in Wilstead, as I regard you all as a friendly lot of faces. So I have got Parkinson's, that's why I've got the shakes. And if I wobble around a bit, it is the Parkinson's, it's not anything else. And please feel very free to ask questions. I'll answer questions about anything to do with Parkinson's, table tennis, poetry, and hopefully you will come to see why those things are all connected. I've always written the occasional poem ever since I was a teenager. And when I retired 9 years ago, I used to write some for my dad, who was getting on a bit and needed a bit of cheering up. And he always liked a bit of wordplay and puns and that kind of thing. So I took up writing poems for him. So I thought, if I read you one of the poems I wrote for him, you'll see what sort of thing I like to do. And can you hear me?
Yes.
If by any chance you can't, you'll have to start waving at me. Right, so here's a typical one from my dad. Reaching 91. He's now 96, but this was 91. Don't take me to the hospital. Don't take me to the quack. Just leave me in my armchair and give the nurse the sack. I'm feeling rather fragile. My legs have given way. My heart is beating wildly, and there's something I must say. I'm 91 years old now. I'm long in tooth and claw. I don't want people fussing, so go and close the door. I'll watch a bit of footy. I'll place bets on my team, and I'll plan next year's tomatoes and sleep, perchance to dream. I'll dream of how life once was, when I was young and free, when everything was easy and no one hassled me. I'd sit astride my motorbike with Sheila perched behind, roaring down the country lanes to see what we could find. Or maybe ballroom dancing, our foxtrot was the best. We'd twirl away the hours, we didn't need to rest. All that's been and gone now, there isn't any more. So leave me to my memories and shut the bloody door. My dad likes to have a protest as well, usually about politicians, or do you remember that time that the Chancellor increased the pension by the round sum of 25p? I think that was Gordon Brown. So he's quite political and quite verbose. So when the BBC announced that they were going to start charging the elderly again, he was not amused. So I wrote this one. It's called Auntie. Attention all elderly citizens, all those over 75, you've got to start paying your way now. We'll tax you for staying alive. We're not a charitable outfit, although we do host children in need. We stick up for all the minorities. Indeed, this is where we succeed. Protest if you like, all you oldies, but ask yourselves if you ought, because this is the BBC calling. Pay up, or we'll take you to court. Around this time, Mum and Dad were getting pretty elderly, and things were getting increasingly difficult. And one of the things that me and my sister hadn't realised was that every time we turned up with this massive bouquet of flowers, it presented them with a problem. And we were asked in no uncertain terms to not buy any more flowers. So I wrote this poem, Don't Send Me Flowers. Please don't send me flowers. They come packed in a box, sealed with yards of sticky tape, which looks at me and mocks. Please don't send me flowers. My vases are too small, so I have to chop the stems down, which is no good at all. Please don't send me flowers. It all makes such a mess. The petals drop off everywhere, and then I just get stressed. Please don't send me flowers. They can disrupt the day and leave me feeling grumpy in such an ungrateful way. If I must have flowers, please deliver them by hand, a small nosegay of violets. Now, that would be just grand. So we reluctantly gave up buying flowers, but I don't know, I have now come to realise what that means when somebody's coming at you with this large bouquet of flowers and you're thinking, oh God.
Especially when you're cooking them dinner.
Sorry?
When you're cooking them dinner,
yes.
And you've got you're still stirring things in the oven, and somebody comes, we've brought you some flowers, and you've got all your hands full already. Yeah, and oh, thank you. Yeah, it's just what I needed when I'm doing all this.
Shove them in a bucket and ask for chocolate next time. Are we all still all right hearing?
Yes.
Good. Right, this you may recognise this phenomenon when we get to the end. It's called inner state. I clear up the mess on the table, then go round and empty the bins. There's some stuff to go out for recycling, as well as some bottles and tins. I look at the dust on the TV and the crumbs all over the floor. There's a trail of them out to the kitchen, where I dare say there's quite a few more. If I'm quick, I could get out the hoover and take it upstairs for a spin. I've noticed the fluff on the landing. What a terrible state to be in. Is there time to wipe round the bathroom and put all the towels away? I could polish the taps and the basin. Quick, let there be no delay. You must wonder why I am fussing. What does this activity mean? Are we due for some sort of inspection? No, Carol is coming to clean. Do you do that? She comes to clean on a Thursday, so that's the day, isn't it? So when I rang Dad this morning, it took ages and ages. He said, I'm just doing the wiping up before Carol gets here. Anyway, just thinking about my poetry career, when the pandemic kicked off and we all had to enter into that dreadful lockdown situation, that's when all the poems started coming out. I'd only written occasionally up until this point, and then suddenly, on a daily basis, I would fling out another poem or two. So this one is called Lockdown. This will take you back, perhaps, to how things were. On day 1 of the lockdown, I cut the hedge and the grass. Day 2, I scrubbed the patio and polished all the brass. The 3rd day, I watched videos appearing on my phone. Day 4 is pretty boring, but I know I shouldn't moan. Oh, what to do on day 5? I'd better have a think. I could steam clean the grouting or disinfect the sink. Now here we are on day 6. I've had it up to here. I think I'll put my feet up and drink some cans of beer. Day 7 comes quite slowly. I've got a rotten head. I can't be arsed with anything. I'll stay here in my bed. 8 days, and it's a lifetime. I really mustn't shirk. I never thought I'd say this, but I want to go to work. Those days seem long ago now. It was all rather tedious after a while. I'll just read this one and then I'll talk a little bit more about the poems. This one's called The Neighbours. I've tried and tried but can't work out what my neighbours are about. So come and stand here now with me and we will see what we can see. Every day at 3 or 4, they draw the curtains, shut the door. I can't imagine what they do every single afternoon. I've heard them mention, when they're able, they like to get up on the table. Now, don't get me wrong, for I'm no prude, but that to me seems rather rude. So listen closely, then you'll hear grunts and groans, sometimes a cheer. Often there's a short, sharp smack that sounds to me just like a smack. Sorry, I should have said crack. I've also heard, and it's not nice, some fruity language once or twice. Then later, and they never rush, they both emerge and look quite flushed. So what do you think? Is it okay for neighbours to behave this way? Is there someone I should ring to tell about this sort of thing? What's that you say? I've got it wrong? Oh, yes, I have heard of ping pong. Oh, how boring, what a shame. Table tennis is their game. That was me and Gerry. We are both table tennis fanatics, and of course during the lockdown it was just me and him. So we got rid of the sofa, chopped it up, and got a table tennis table in to the sitting room, and we played every afternoon. Best of 13 games. We couldn't play at our clubs, you see. And we thought we'd steal the march on everybody else, and when we finally went back, we'd win everything. But we didn't, of course. We just knew how to play each other. And I had no idea at this stage what was going to happen to me once those COVID restrictions were lifted. But more of that later. That's just a little tease for you now. I was still writing poems, and along came Mr. Johnson. Remember him? Boris Johnson? I've got a whole stack of poems on Boris Johnson. I've ditched them now. But I do current affairs, so I'm still caught up in this whirlwind of new prime ministers, but I can run to one on Liz Truss. So, Liz means business. At a girl, go get 'em. Give 'em all what for. Surround yourself with competence and show your foes the door. You've got no time to mess around. The 11th hour is here. The sands of time are running low, and soon they'll disappear. The opposition will try and fool you and hope to make you trip, and some of your backbenchers would like to see you slip. But you must rise above them and see the way ahead, despite attacks from trolls and those who'd rather see you dead. Focus on your targets. Find the country's greatest minds. Bring the experts all together. Be prepared to take all kinds. You may not have the answers, but your job is to inspire and lead when things are desperate and the country is under fire. So, don your navy two-piece, put family life on hold while you show the rest of Europe that now we must be bold. Stand firmly with our allies and speak with one clear voice. Then all the world will know that you were the perfect choice. P.S. I think we know the answer. It's plain for all to see. Liz, she went and blew it. Her dream was not to be. Her life is now in boxes. She'd only just moved in, and now she's moved back out again. It seems she just can't win. I'm not sure where I'm going with wishing. It's still brewing. By the way, I took no notice at all of what time I started. I'll just wave at me when it's time to finish. So, talking of current affairs, hopefully this won't lead to a sort of winter of total discontent, but this one's called Tighten Your Belts. The price of bread has rocketed, and so has Wiltshire ham. Sunday roasts a distant dream. We're lucky to have spam. Shortages are common. We're going back in time when food was treated with respect and gluttony was a crime. Now fridges are half empty. Mary Berry is born again as she shows us how to manage when there is no quiche Lorraine. Takeaways have vanished, as have buy one, get one free. There are no more special offers, and there's nothing much for tea. Tomorrow's jam's been eaten. We've gobbled all the cake. There's only bread, no butter. Our ice cream's lost its flake. It's time to settle up now. Your tab has reached the end. Please don't ask for credit, as a refusal may offend. I could only really read that to people of a certain age. Don't hear that anymore. And as the screw tightens, I can get quite depressing, incidentally. I do it too much. This one's called Modern Living. We've opened up the chimney, and now we're burning sticks. We can't afford gas heating, so now we're in a fix. I've had to join the food bank, for which there's now a queue. People are in crisis and don't know what to do. The world's gone into free fall. There seem to be no rules. Nations now are led by despots, thugs and fools. Sects and factions prosper, their policies absurd. But this is how it is now. Welcome to our world. Right. So I was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease about 9 years ago now. So I've written quite a lot of poems about Parkinson's, but they're not the most humorous of things, so I won't do too much on those. But last year there was a major development in my life when Parkinson's and table tennis collided. And I've always believed that playing lots of table tennis has helped me keep relatively fit and helped me to manage my Parkinson's symptoms, because the best thing for Parkinson's is plenty of exercise. Now, other people have thought this too about Parkinson's, and some people saw no reason why people with Parkinson's shouldn't have their own national and international competitions at table tennis. And for the first time ever, back in 2019, the first ever World Championships in table tennis for people with Parkinson's was held in New York. And I remember seeing it on my computer and thinking, oh, that's fantastic, I'd love to go and play. But of course, it's much too far away from me. It was just a pipe dream. Well, then, the second World Championships were to be held in Germany. And we got to hear about Parkinson's people playing table tennis from a chap in Ipswich. And anyway, to cut a long story short, we contacted this chap and got involved, and I went to Germany to play in the for the first time for an English player to play in the World Championships, and it was amazing, absolutely amazing. So everybody there had Parkinson's to all different degrees, lots of different symptoms, but it didn't matter because we all loved playing table tennis. So that opportunity actually ended up in me writing a load more poems. So I'm going to read a few of those now. So this one's called Called Up. It really is quite crazy. I'm stunned beyond belief. I've got to play for England, a career that will be brief. Have I displayed great prowess, won every single game? No, I've languished in the doldrums, and my shots are rather tame. It's not for want of trying, I practice every day, but my averages are lowly, and I guess that's how they'll stay. So how come at 67 I realise a dream to represent my country and join a national team? I'll let you know my secret, even though I like to tease. My extra special quality is Parkinson's disease. So still on that theme, you might find this has echoes of something else in it. This is called Pride of England, and I wrote this because we were sent an England kit ready to wear it out in Germany, and I was sorting out the sizes for different people, and of course there were the 3 lions on the shirt, and that was quite something to look at. Not normally one to wave a flag and get all sentimental. Indeed, I find too much of that can be quite detrimental. But somehow, when I see those lions lying passant in a row, I cannot help but feel inside a patriotic glow. And did those paws in ancient times stalk England's mountains green? What battles and great conquests have those warriors seen? Can I now conduct myself in such a fitting manner as to emulate these 3 brave beasts, fight well beneath their banner? Whichever way you look at it, win or lose is much the same. It's not just racking up the points, it's how you play the game. Can you smile and face adversity, be generous in defeat, or will you whimper, whine and snivel because someone has you beat? So rouse yourselves, prepare to fight, let England be our cry as we face the opposition and prepare to do or die. We'll give it everything we've got, and then we'll give some more as we listen to King Harry's lions give out their mighty roar.
Yeah.
So, to date, I have played in the first German Open competition where I won a silver medal in the mixed doubles, and we've since played in the second German Open. Did I win anything?
Can't remember.
I won 3 gold medals in the Portuguese Open. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
Vividly. And we've just come back from Pula in Croatia, where the World Championships were held again. And no, I didn't get any medals because the competition was too stiff this time. But each time we go, the numbers increase. I think World Championships in Berlin had 138 people playing. Well, this time in Croatia, that went up to 160 from 20 different countries. And it's just a fantastic atmosphere because you're all in the same boat, and it doesn't matter. You don't have to explain why you're a little bit weird. We all know why. So that's that. So like I say, that gives me scope for plenty of poems. Oh, international. It all seems totally irrational. Liz is going international. Some would say at 68 she's left it just a wee bit late. Why would somebody her age want to take up centre stage? Surely now she's past her prime and may not have a lot of time. She should rest and take it slow. She has got Parkinson's, you know. I'm not about to give up yet. On doing more, my heart is set. I don't know what it is I seek. I think I've yet to reach my peak. Although I'm not in tip-top form, I'm here and ready to perform. I take it that you feel the same and that you're here to play the game. So grab your bats if you are able. We'll thrash each other off the table. Right, now a slightly more serious one. If it wasn't for the Parkinsons. If it wasn't for the Parkinsons, I wouldn't have the shakes and all the other symptoms and the trouble that it makes. If it wasn't for the Parkinsons, I'd get to sleep at night instead of counting sheep, getting more and more uptight. If it wasn't for the Parkinsons, I wouldn't write daft rhyme, and I'd do things that were sensible and worthy of my time. If it wasn't for the Parkinsons, there'd be no books of verse. Could it be this illness is a blessing, not a curse? If it wasn't for the Parkinsons, I wouldn't be here now, performing on the world stage, about to take a bow. If it wasn't for the Parkinsons, you wouldn't be my friend, someone I can laugh with and on whom I can depend. If it wasn't for the Parkinsons. One thing about Parkinson's is you get in a terrible mess all the time. I've managed to scatter this completely. Right. Oh, there it is. So this one is called Heavens Above, and this was about flying out to Germany, I think it was, on Ryanair. Always an opportunity for another poem. So it's called Heavens Above. Ooh, the assault on my ears is relentless on board Ryanair's cattle truck. No chance of a nap or a daydream, because they're out to make a quick buck. You can purchase a nice cup of coffee or perfume if that's more your thing. You can even donate to a charity. What great satisfaction that brings. What I'd really like is some quiet while I stare at the clouds floating by, and the chance to finally jettison that kid who's done nothing but cry. And then this one I wrote on the way back, and I wrote it after we saw the air, what do you call them, air stewards. Yes, this rather nice young man, and he had very nice cuffs, and you know. And his name badge said Gerry. So this is called Gorgeous Gerry. Gerry looks bored stiff as he gives a little sniff and waves his arms around to show his cuffs. He knows he must look cool because he's no one's fool, and this lot on board are just a load of scruffs. He longs for olden days and more exclusive ways when passengers were beautiful or rich. Clark Gable in a suit, Marlena with cheroot, or Betty, who could sometimes be a bitch. These days it's screaming hordes who come galloping on board, yelling at their kids to settle down, while they order too much drink so that they don't have to think, and someone always likes to play the clown. One day he'll think, that's it, I've had enough, I quit, and at 30,000 feet he'll prize a door, and all the passengers will shout as the G-force sucks them out, and they'll never fly with Ryanair no more. He has no idea what I wrote. Right. So, anybody still suffering from the after effects of the pandemic? Probably. Don't take a seat. Face-to-face appointments have all but disappeared. In these post-pandemic days, they're now a little weird. You will only see a doctor strictly on their terms. Waiting rooms have been closed, being breeding grounds for germs. The nurse who gives the flu jabs now does so in a tent. Inoculations have now become a big outdoor event. We queue up in the car park and hope it doesn't rain. We look like refugees. It feels quite inhumane. My dental check-up's due. I make sure I'm not late, but shivering on the pavement is where I have to wait. Someone takes my temperature. At last I am let in, and my bag is quarantined before my treatment can begin. Because that's the thing with patients, you don't know where they've been. So everything is sanitised before they can be seen. And now I've had my letter. My next mammogram is due. I wonder where I'll have it. Will that be outside too? This next one is a similar theme, and this is one of Dad's favourites as well. It's called Coronavirus Cop-Out. Banks and doctors, British Gas, put up the shutters, bold as brass. Customers who tried to phone, left high and dry and all alone. Got a problem? Don't ring us. We can't help. Don't make a fuss. Oh, check our website if you like, but speak to us, go take a hike. Human decency disappears. We've got the best excuse for years. You can shout and make a scene, but we'll hide behind the COVID screen. You want the service for which you've paid? We're sorry, but we won't be swayed. We're staying tucked up, out of sight. This is our policy now, right? Heaven knows where it will all end, as we are driven round the bend. But the slogan now, it seems to me, is customer service, RIP. Right, this one might sound familiar as well. Do I need to stop? I can keep this up for hours. Right, this one's called Hang On a Minute. You are currently caller number 15. So now I must decide what I want to do. Hang on for all eternity till my patience peters out, listening to piped music before I scream and shout. You are currently caller number 13 in the queue. Oh, this is going to take an age. I think I'll make a brew. Waiting rooms have long since closed. The chair's no longer there. I have the distinct impression that no one seems to care. You are currently caller number 11 in the queue. I could really do without all this mindless ballyhoo. What about the Hippocratic oath that says you can't play God? The refusal to see patients strikes me as very odd. You are currently caller number 9 in the queue. I rage and swear and curse like mad. The air itself turns blue. I've not seen nurse or doctor for very many years, not since they outsourced everything, like the syringing of our ears. You are currently caller number 8 in the queue. My patience is running out, and I think I need a loo. Once the pride of British life, the NHS is sinking fast. I hate to have to say it, but the people now come last. You are currently caller number 5 in the queue. What on earth is happening? What do the doctors do? Are they playing indoor golf, reading War and Peace, putting a deposit on a holiday in Greece? You are currently caller number 2 in the queue. I'm very nearly there now. I shall see this torment through. Then suddenly I hear a voice. Thank goodness, because it's late. Ring back tomorrow, caller. The line's open again at 8. You've experienced that? Gerry had a phone call today that was caller number what? You were number 59?
59.
Oh, 59. It wasn't the doctors, to be fair. What was it?
Can't remember.
The Samaritans. Right. Yes. So these days I just enjoy writing about our struggles with life, really. Yes, let's have this one. Oops. Did I put the cat out? Have I locked the door? I don't seem to know what I'm doing anymore. Security is out the window, because I left that open too, along with the car doors. I didn't have a clue. I nip out for a paper to the local grocery store and spot loads of handy bargains that are too good to ignore. And then, when I get home, how much do you want to bet? I've forgotten the very thing I went especially to get. And what about the water butts set up to catch the rain? Except I left them open and it caused them both to drain. And not only did I do this once, I actually did it twice, which gave rise to some comments that weren't particularly nice. How does all this come about? I once was busy Lizzie, multitasking everywhere and being very whizzy. Now senior moments are the norm. They trip me up each day. I'm always getting caught out, and I don't know what to say. These things aren't done deliberately. I haven't had them planned. If you were to risk assess me, I'd surely have me banned. I've left the fridge door open, which made the air turn blue, and it's just a matter of time till I burn the house down too. I went out yesterday. I had to get tonic water from Sainsbury's because it was on offer, reduced to £1 from £1.65 if you bought 3 bottles. I said, don't worry, I'm going to Sainsbury's. I came back home with shopping. I unloaded the great piles of it all around the kitchen. Where was the tonic?
Who's that?
I forgot. Sorry. Right, what about packaging? I'll surely struggle with this. Packaging. The thing about ageing is the decline of the strength in my hands, which used to work fine. I would wrestle with screw tops and never give in. And as for packets of crisps, I could always break in. With access denied now to hundreds of things, I can't get a grip what frustration it brings. I seethe in the kitchen, my face in a scowl. The sheer bloody hell of it just makes me howl. Look at this ring pull, a shocking device which puts up a fight that is not very nice. And then, when I think I've worked the thing loose, it springs and covers my shirt front in juice. And what can be worse than a tub full of butter? I can surely get this off, I'm heard to mutter. But in seconds, I get into a terrible flap as the lid keeps control, sees me off with a snap. And as for those tins of Frey Bentos corned beef, leave well alone, or they'll just cause you grief. And the more you manoeuvre that dreadful key, the more likely you are to see A&E. Some packs have instructions, or perhaps a small tab, at which feeble hands make an ineffectual grab. I'm told to peel here, but of course it won't work. I'm in danger now of going berserk. So if one day soon you don't see me around, break into my house, because that's where I'll be found. I'm sure I'll have wasted completely away death by packaging, surely foul play. Oh, let's do this one. This one's always interesting. Right, this one is called You What? There's a very common ailment that strikes at married life. It affects both men and women, causing untold strife. Difficult to diagnose until it's well ingrained, it can cause a lot of shouting while expressions become pained. The chances are you've got it and have had it for a while if you show the following symptoms and conversation is a trial. He says you talk too softly, that you sound more like a mouse. You say he's out of earshot speaking from the far end of the house. You say he's always grunting, that his favourite word is eh? He sounds like he's not bothered, so you take it the wrong way. And neither of you notice that the TV volume's high and the world is very quiet, but you don't think to ask why. In growing old together, you've also become deaf. Of mutual understanding, there's very little left. So how can you restore the harmony you knew in yesteryear, when you whispered such sweet nothings in your darling shell-like ear? Perhaps now the time has come to let go of your pride, fit those digital hearing aids, and lead your lives amplified. That is strike a chord. Well, this one might too. This is called dressing down. The biggest challenge of the day is getting dressed once child's play. I don't know which garment's worst. If you ask me, each one is cursed. Pants are where the nightmare starts, and my sanity soon departs. Feeble hands clutch tight elastic, A miracle now would be fantastic. Nothing gets me more depressed than wrestling with my wretched vest. And when I finally get it on, I can feel I've got it wrong. The whole thing now is front to back, and I'm at great risk of heart attack. The entire procedure takes an age, and soon I start to rant and rage. I simply want to tuck it in, but it seems I cannot win. My despair is quite profound. I don't have time to mess around. Socks and shoes. Need I say more? You and I both know the score. I try to bend down to my feet, but sense the onset of defeat. The time has come to make a stand. I hope that you will understand. I don't intend to cause a sensation, but I've joined the Naturist Foundation. And as everybody knows, members there dispense with clothes. Nudity is not a sin. I know that I will fit right in. Well, I'm just going to move through these. I did have a script all well laid out and everything, but it's fine. This is called Fallout. If you have ever wondered why you're wearing thin, it's due to desiccation and the shedding of your skin. To you, it might appear that your body is full of rust. Your flaking epidermis is what we know as dust. It slowly gathers pace, and with the advancing years, and eventually is joined by the fallout from your ears. Hair and wax and scabs, and there's dandruff too, all conspire together to make this special brew. It clings to every surface, turning colours grey, defying your best efforts to clear it all away. It irritates some people and causes them to wheeze, while others grab their hankies as they begin to sneeze. You can wipe it, you can blow it, you can even push it round, but you'll never quite defeat it, as it likes to hang around. It can be quite a problem, so fight it if you must, but remember that each one of us produces several pounds of dust. That's what I had to explain to my dad. Right, we're coming towards the end now. And I wrote a poem for the Queen's Jubilee. In fact, I'm going to finish on two regarding the Queen. So this is for her Jubilee. I wrote God Save the Queen. I've outstayed most world leaders and hung on to my crown. I've always done my duty. I've never let you down. My attention span is awesome, and I know how to behave. My manners are classed as top drawer as I gently nod and wave. I'm running out of time now as my reign comes to a close. Time to pass the sceptre to another, I suppose. I've always kept my counsel, my opinions under wraps. Monarchy needs mystery to keep it from collapse. I've had one or two issues that have brought some pangs of grief. Harry's been a nuisance, and Andrew's beyond belief. But after all these years of service, all I seek now is peace. An eternity of freedom will be a great release. Aww. And this one, QE2 RIP. Perched upon this catafalque for everyone to see. It'll be a few days yet until I'm finally set free. This is my last hurrah, grand finale, one more goodbye. Then you must put your grief aside, and here's the reason why. You've stood in line for countless hours, sometimes cold and wet, quietly contemplating life as you pay me your respects. The winning formula for peace, or so it seems to me, commit to serving others and be the best that you can be. Now lay me to rest, commit my body to the ground, and let my soul soar free, no longer duty bound. I'll saddle up my winged horse, and together we'll take flight, and you might see a shooting star one clear and frosty night. It's a funny thing, but if I didn't have the Parkinson's, I wouldn't have gone abroad playing international tennis, I wouldn't have written all these poems and had books published, and I wouldn't be standing here now talking to you. So it's a strange old life. But thank you for listening to me.
Well done.